What advice do you have for someone wanting to start their own business?
Well, I think this is kind of an old school mentality, but if you want to start your own business, one of the things that I think is so underrated that doesn't happen a lot is actually interning, right? Is actually, you know what, if you want to open up a restaurant, hey, go work for a restaurant, right?
Mhm.
Even if you get paid or you don't, at the end of the day, you know, getting paid hourly doesn't always amount to what you're going to learn by getting together with the owner, picking their brain. Because most of the time, they're more than willing to extend themselves to you and tell you exactly what it takes to run a restaurant, to run an insurance agency. Because I know for a fact that, you know what, we need more entrepreneurs. We need more small businesses because they're the ones who drive the economy. Without them, the economy won't work. So it's really, really important. So when I first started, obviously I was lucky enough to actually work under my sister. But when I started realizing that I didn't want to work for somebody else, that's when I started paying attention to every intricacy that took to run a business. And that's what you need to know. You need to know those little things,
Mhm.
because if you don't, those are the things that when you go to school that they don't teach you, because
Mhm.
there's no real world situation to how do you manage 3 or 4 employees. Each one of them has a different way of being, right? So obviously one person is their motivation is going to be money, but the other person's motivation is going to be, you know what, they actually want to move up in the company. So you have to be able to manage them completely different. You don't get taught that in school. So again, just interning or just working for somebody where they're willing to show you the ropes, it goes a long way.
I think that's great, like phenomenal advice, because I've been fortunate enough like to be able to give back and teach. And when I teach, a lot of times students tell me that, you know, they learn more from when I teach my little workshops than they have when they go to school. And specifically for those reasons is that they're not getting that practical knowledge,
Yeah.
the years of experience. You know, reading something from a textbook and memorizing information is important to a certain extent, because you're gonna eventually have to apply it, and
Yeah.
the application comes from that experience. So you're right. I mean, sitting with someone and picking their brains and how they run their business and all those little nuances of like
Yeah.
how do you manage this personality versus this personality,
Hmm.
this person is really emotional versus this person is really stubborn, you know, and how do
Yeah.
you know, you have to be constantly doing this, the wearing of many hats. You know, how do you measure when someone gets to be like, let's say, for example, too over the top or is underperforming?
Well, you have to hold everybody accountable. That's the most important thing. So with my staff, we always have weekly meetings.
Mm.
So more than anything, what's always open is their salary. If they ever want to get paid a certain amount, no problem. Let's help you get there.
Mm.
Okay. If that's what drives you,
Nice.
but you have to hold them accountable.
Mm.
Okay. You can't say that, you want to get paid this much, right? When at the end of the day, when we look at your overall results, I'm not even in a business standpoint as an agency, I'm not even breaking even. Okay. When it comes to your salary. So when you hold people accountable, then you actually are opening them up to seeing how the business works, but also that way they're a little bit more driven. They understand, what they need to do to be able to get themselves to where they want to be at. I can tell you a funny story. Yeah, when I was going into to school, so I took a business class,
Mm.
right? And I remember the professor was what the assignment was. We actually had to come up with a business, right? We had to come up and make a business, right? And then we had to say exactly, what type of business was it going to be? How were we going to run it? How were we going to make it successful, right? So at that time, I just needed the credits, right? It was just something. It's just a class that I needed to take. So what I did was I went to my sister when I was working with her at the time, and I said, "Hey, look, this is my assignment. Do you mind? Can you give me your template of everything, right? How you do this, this, and that, right?" So I just literally just took everything she said, put it on a piece of paper, and then I turned it in,
Mm.
right? What's funny is I got an F for that paper.
Oh,
He pretty much came back to me. Yeah, he came back to me and said, "You know what? This is a real world scenario." What's ironic is my sister had been in business for already 10 years with that platform that I actually turned in to him, right? And she had been very, very successful, where she was we were one of the top, I think, 3% of the nation. And when it came to sales, retention, a lot of other things, thousands of clients. But again, this is how, like I mention it to people when the subject comes up, it's easy for someone like a professor to say, oh, this isn't going to work. And then there's actually real world, okay, of what's happening. So maybe, you know what, he just hasn't been out there. Maybe he's not even a business owner. But the irony of the fact that he filmed it, right? So that's why, again, the knowledge is power. That is the most important thing. So as an entrepreneur, the best thing you can do is listen, taking notes, taking in everything that's happening.
All great advice. I have to agree 100%. Absorb information, listen,
Yeah.
adaptation, especially in the time that we're in right now. I think adaptation more than ever is one of the things that I'm taking out of it. I feel like I've always been good at adapting to scenarios, and a lot of things that we're doing already, similar to your agency. I'm sure from what it sounds like, it wasn't that difficult for your business to transition to the online world, because you guys already have these processes in place where you minimize human contact to begin with, right? In terms of the form.
Yeah. But this was something that, and it actually goes back to your field, Miguel, because this is how we actually met. So it was because of this. But I actually started getting involved, really, really involved, when it came to social media, all the platforms. I want to say about maybe 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started realizing that the old ways of doing things is changing. Okay. So by, streamlining, and as you can see, social media is 24/7. You can't turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
So learning that to be able to have a presence on social media, right? Because you can streamline your agency all you want. You can have the most efficient agency in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have no way of bringing clients in or letting people know of what great service or what great products you actually have, then you're really not going to be around much longer. So it's really, really, really important that you have to get out there. I've only been doing it for 2.5 years, but since I've been doing it, we won tons of awards, and I knew the product. The product is there. I knew the service is there, but getting people to know that, right, and getting people to let us be part of their business is a key thing, and that helped through social media. So that's when I knew I had to double down on it.
No, well, that's good that you bring that up, because social media presence and online presence is so critical, and now more than ever. How impactful would you say it's been in terms of your business, as far as in comparison to what others are doing?
Compared to a lot of my colleagues, when it comes to just social media, they're really non-existent. And it's a shame, because again, we work for a great company, and collectively, if we would all to focus on social media, we would definitely do way better than as far as a presence when it comes to branding Farmers itself, and branding your agency individually as well. You want to brand your business, but social media, that's the key. That's what people need to understand. That is where you will distinguish yourself from everyone else. But again, since I've been using social media, we won tons of awards, and it's just because of the fact that people are recognizing that our niche is insurance. Our niche is business insurance. Okay, we understand it. We know it. Right, 20 years of doing this. That means something. Okay, I could walk into your business, and I know exactly what to look for, and what I'm actually going to sit down and tell you, hey, these are the risks that you potentially have. Okay, again, bringing that together, combined with social media, every time that we would do a video, you would see actually my phones just spike up.
Yeah, all
And
the notifications are coming in, and
yeah, all the notifications. You have interactions with people that I don't even know. So when I go to networking events, I mean, there's people that actually come up to me and say, hey, I know you. I don't know you, but I know you.
yeah,
So again,
I've seen you online. Nice. Can you touch a little bit on that in terms of can you give us an idea of the different types of businesses that you've worked with?
Really anything as far as, again, when it comes to personal auto, so to homeowners insurance, to renters insurance, to vacant lands, to vacant homes, to under construction, To the other side of the spectrum, which is commercial, anything from a home-based business, right, to artists and contractors, to non-for-profit agencies. Okay, so we're all over the place to life insurance. Now, it doesn't mean we can insure everything, okay, because sometimes I might not have a market for it, but the majority of the risk we're actually able to at least quote it and write it. So if I can quote it, I can definitely insure it.
Okay. So to touch a little bit on the state that we're in, like the COVID-19 situation, we're still on lockdown here in Chicago. What would be the best policy for people to obtain?
Yeah, that's a great question, because everybody asks me, and more broad, in the more broader sense, is what is the best policy, right? Well, right now, when it comes to businesses, this is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this. So I have a lot of my clients that tell me, Jose, is there a certain coverage that I could add later after this is all done? And unfortunately, right now, we don't have that. No, there's no insurance policy that will cover something like this, a pandemic endorsement, right? But I can tell you this, when 9/11 happened, a couple of years after that, there's a terrorist endorsement that can be added onto policies. So that came from, I'm
So
sure
do you
that,
think that there's something that's going to come as a result of this?
yeah, I think insurance companies, they're going to have to, add this to their policies. So, because obviously this is another potential thing that can happen to your business. Now, when it comes to right now, I think life insurance is something that is especially with us as Latinos, right? It's never spoken, right? It's like a taboo. Whenever I try to bring the subject up about life insurance, it's always looked upon like, oh no, this isn't something I want to talk about. And it's unfortunate, because as you can see right now with everything that's happening, that is one of the most important policy that everyone needs, because we're all going to use it eventually.
Can you expand a little bit how like a policy works and the importance of it?
Well, first and foremost, that's probably one of the easiest policy that you can get. Okay. And life insurance is just exactly what it sounds like. It's life insurance. But what people don't understand is there's more than just the actual life insurance, which is the death benefit, but there's certain policies that specifically you can get them where not only do they have a death benefit, but they'll also be a life benefit. Like there's certain policies that you can buy that it'll have $100,000 in case, in case you ever die. But there's also a savings account. Now, the interest rate that saving account is giving you is much higher than what you can get if you were to have the money in a bank, in a city, and other places that you can invest. So people need to know that life insurance isn't just life insurance. There's more to it. When you purchase a house, one of the things that they ask you, I know the loan officer asks you, is, well, this is going to be your down payment. Can you show me, do you have money? Is it coming from a 401k? Do you have a life insurance? Because they know that there's a savings account where you can borrow from the life insurance, just like a 401k, but borrowing from a life insurance doesn't penalize you. So you can take the money out, you could either pay it back with a small interest rate or not pay it back. They'll just kind of take it off of your death benefit. So people need to understand that life insurance has been around for a very, very long time. And when used correctly, that life insurance isn't for you, but it's for the people you leave behind. And I know that sounds, like a cliche, but think about it. If you have a life insurance, the people you leave behind, obviously they're going to mourn you. But financially, how you leave them, okay, will give them a better start in that point of their life. Because potentially, if you're leaving $100,000, behind, and you're the breadwinner, that's going to help your family out substantially. So these are the things that we need to educate ourselves on. That life insurance is so critical. And the thing about life insurance is the way it works is the younger you purchase that life insurance, the least expensive it's going to be. Yeah. Because unfortunately, I have Latinos that come to me when they're in their 60s looking to get life insurance. And I mean, you're talking about very expensive premiums. Obviously, we can find them something, but they're kind of better off just kind of saving their money on their own instead of getting a life insurance, because it'll be such a small death benefit. that it might not even be worth it.
To touch on that, what would you say would be the ideal age to start a life insurance policy by, and then maybe before?
Yeah.
What's kind of like the cutoff point?
So there is no cutoff point. There's no ideal age. The younger you can get it. We just insured actually a couple of babies. Actually, they just turned 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So but one of the good things about it is when they're probably around 65, 70, they're gonna have somewhere around 6 figures worth of savings in there.
Wow.
So think about it this way: will Social Security be around by then? We don't know. Right? So this is another tool that you can use that, in a sense, it saves your money for you. So the ideal age, I want to say, the best premiums are always under 30. Okay, we can still, you'll be getting a really, really good premium for the cost of or what you're paying for as far as your death benefit. But again, I mean, they're structured so you can structure them so differently. There's certain life policies that follow a debt, like a 30-year loan. Okay, those are term policies. You can get a $500,000 one for, $20, $30, depending on your age. Okay, so they're very inexpensive, but again, those don't have savings. They don't have that savings benefit. So, but again, something were to happen to you, the house is paid off. Okay, because you're specifically taking out that life policy to cover a certain debt that you have. So they're very, very, very important. We just need to show the people that this is what will help us out in the long run. Not just you, but your family, your son's sons, because it will, you can see it out just by one person in the family having the life insurance, right? You'll be in a better state after, if something were to happen to that person.